Oprah.com, and I saw this button that says tell us your story. And every day I wrote my story. And after I wrote my story on Oprah.com, I went to Tyra Banks and I wrote my story. And then I went to CNN.com and I wrote my story. Every day. And almost 2 years to the day. In 2009, I was working on a job, getting my $8.50 an hour. I had a job and I had a dream. And I was balancing the job with the dream. And here I was on these people's job as a counselor, you know, when you're working with the mentally ill men. And these were grown men. So I was on the clock and I started to see it as paid training. I started whistling while I worked because I had a vision and a plan. And if my phone rang, I would leave the men in the house by themselves against the rules and go outside and take that call because I was balancing. But I knew that that job would not be permanent for me. And I started to speak this and believe this. And one day I got a phone call and it said 312 was the area code. That was Chicago. And I said to myself, because I had given up pitching on Oprah, but I had just pitched one more time about a week ago. And I pitched because I was on a free teleconference and the man said I didn't have any money to invest in these $1,400 packages that they would sell you. But they would give a free call and they would tell you all the best information for free. And then at the end, they'll sell you on a package to tell you everything they just told you for free with just a little more. So I had learned this and figured it out. So I was on all these free calls, and on one of the calls, they talked about a timely pitch, which is a PR practice to where when something happens in the media, if you've written a book and you can speak to that situation in the media, you can pitch. And so Chris Brown and Rihanna happened. And I had written my book, which was called What Daddy Never Told His Little Girl. And it was a relationship book, what I wrote from a man's heart, no holds barred. And I had a chapter on abuse. And I had that spirit, you know, spoke to me and say, pitch one more time. Pitch one more time. And I went to Oprah.com and I pitched. And I said, I'm Tony Gaskin, the author of What Daddy Never Told His Little Girl. I know what it's like to be Chris Brown. And I know how he can change. And I also know how Rihanna can leave that relationship and never find herself in an abusive relationship again. And I'd like to help your viewers learn what I've learned. Short and sweet. That's what I learned on that free call. And I wrote it in a poetic way and I trumped it up a little bit, the story. And here I was at 25 years old going on Oprah to tell a story that happened when I was 20. So I could have took this to the grave. Now, in this incident with my girlfriend, there was no police. There was no black eyes. There was no bust lips. There was no, it looked nothing like Chris Brown and Rihanna. But it was some pushing and shoving, some tugging and some pulling. And I had a long fingernail and I grabbed her and I scratched her. So where she got cut at from my nail, I trumped it up on Oprah and said, till she bled. Because I knew the media liked sensationalism. Now what bit me in my butt is they made me read my email on live television. And I had trumped it up. But for me it was something that was spiritual. And what it was is God was saying to me that if you are willing to be humble, if you're willing to sacrifice your ego, if you're willing to put your pride to the side and allow your pain to birth your purpose, I'll use you. But if you're going to hide and if you want to ride in on a white horse with a gold sword, I can't use you. But if you're willing to go in on a donkey, I'll take you anywhere that you're willing to go. And I came in with that message. And I went on television with no training. They was going to give me 5 minutes, and the producer came to move me, and Oprah said, no, leave him here.
All right.
My 5 minutes turned into 55 minutes. During the commercial break, Oprah was leaning over asking me for clarification on the wisdom that I had just dropped on her. She said, Tony, you say you've never been affirmed. What does affirmed mean? I said to myself, Lord, you got me on the stage with a billionaire, and she don't know what affirmed means? I realized in that day that she was just a person.
That's right.
Just like me.
That's right.
And on her note card, she was reading an analogy about abuse that I gave her producer. But she read it as if it was hers. Ooh, she don't want me to tell that. But what was confirmed in my spirit is that when you are ready and you're willing and you're humble and you begin to live a life of service, that the people at the mountaintop are no better than you while you're in the climb. No better than you while you at the bottom. So here I was on the biggest stage, and the queen, who is the authority on marriage and family and has neither, was quoting me. Ain't got no husband, ain't got no kids, but we listen to everything she say about it. And the Lord say, I'm going to use you, speak through her. And I'm going to take you to the highest platform so you can share your darkest moment. So I'm not going to have you do 1,000 small mom and pop internet radio